We're back, and I'm here with my best friend, Maybelle Webster, and she's an artist, a photographer, an ex-model. She's a Renaissance woman, and we're going to share some of her experiences in terms of her artistry and the fact that she does all this wonderful photography. And she also is my photographer when we go out on the restaurant reviews. So we have lots of great food, great wine, great experience, and great conversation. Hey, Maybelle.
Hi, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well. You look wonderful.
So do you. I mean, my God, red. I mean, it really pops.
I don't know enough of it.
It really pops. So talk about some of the things that you're doing now. I know you're doing some great posters, which I think is fantastic.
Yes.
Talk about the posters.
It's a bit on the controversial side. The first poster we're working on, and it already is posted in running. The poster is called What's the Matter?
And what does it mean?
And it's tribute to the Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
In regards to...
Well, it's very important.
There's a little poetry that goes along with it, although it's not part of the poster itself, but it talks about the unfortunate aspect of our country, America, where being black seems to be a crime. But we'll leave it at that.
Well, no, I think we can explore that. I mean, the fact that, you know, you have created this beautiful poster, and it makes a statement, and people need to be able to relate to it and really pay attention to what's going on, because it is a political situation.
Yes, well, I think one of the things that we can do with these posters, however, would be the fact that the viewer, the receiver, whoever buys it, hangs it up, whoever looks at it, etc., might have the opportunity to drop a seed to the back of their mind if they're not with the understanding that we're all part of this planet.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with you and your personal loved ones, but all of us are part of this planet.
Right.
It's not just you and your loved ones, it's all of us together.
Right.
That maybe an epiphany can arise from viewing our posters to change people's attitudes, the people who are not on board with the fact that we're all in this together on this planet and there's nowhere else to go.
Right, exactly.
And
there is somewhere to
can,
go, in the ground.
Well, that's going to happen to all of us anyway.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, there's no other way out.
Right.
But before that becomes what is, we need to accept what is, really. And what is that we're living on this planet, and there's all kinds of people, and there has been since we can ever remember, and it's going to be that way until there's no more of anything.
Right.
And that's just a taboo right now, because we don't know what that means anyway.
Right.
But like you said, yeah, we're going to all be under there, but until that time comes, we all need to come together and accept the fact that we're all in this together.
What about the second poster that you're talking about?
We're working on the second poster. It's coming soon. It's in the printers at this time. And that one is called Woman, Not Machine. And it's geared to Planned Parenthood. Because there again, it's not that humans are machines or need to be robotic or told how to feel their emotions or how to dictate what they see as their lives, their future, but something that we should take upon ourselves to decide how we think and want to emotionally deal with and handle our future.
Right.
And the controversies with Planned Parenthood is the interruption of humankind trying to make that decision for themselves.
Right.
Every day we wake up and have to decide, are we going to have a good day or a bad day? Am I going to go left or go right? And when we have others dictate that decision for us, it gets a little uncomfortable. And I think that's what we're trying to tell people. There's no need to get uncomfortable with something that should be an individual decision to make, because that person, whatever the decision is, for whatever reason it is, has to accept and live with that.
Exactly.
Until they hit the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And why should we interfere with what it is when we don't know what it is?
Well, I think it's great that you're making these statements, because people need to pay attention to these particular things in our lives today. And people need to not have a perception of someone before knowing them. You know,
Yes.
I think that's a misnomer. I mean, you can't assume that somebody is without knowing the person.
Exactly, the assumptions. And not everybody fits in the same mold anyway.
Right.
And we are all individuals, and we all have different ideas and wants and needs.
Exactly.
And that's where that comes from. Therefore, moving on, we will have a third poster and a fourth poster, and etc. But it's the beginning of that collection, which we're putting it on our website under multimedia,
Right.
which is one of our newest collection with Webmadphotography.com. And as you know, we already have the Carnival, the Noun Collection Gallery. We've added the Micro New York Gallery, which is grown. We did produce a black and white photography book. And then my restoration work, which is also part of our website.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes, the restoration, retouching, manipulation, which I do enjoy that work. It's a lot of time involved to execute the final product, but I enjoy it. It's an art that
And this is an
takes time.
example right here on the wall.
This one here, it's a Venus dancing with hip hoppers. And as we know, Venus, she's the goddess, but the planet also circulating around the universe, planet
Right.
Earth.
Exactly.
It keeps circulating and circulating and creating what it does, that energy. And so she, Venus, and I created the wings to match her hair and all that. She's just hanging out because we should all be about enjoying every moment. And so water and fun and dancing, it's part of what we all should be part of, I believe.
And I think also the whole idea is that you make it better. You know, you have a photograph and you make it better, or you change it so that you, again, make it better. And that's what,
Yes.
that's what manipulation is all about.
Yes, and I enjoy that because there is a lot of times that you do see a picture and it could be that much better. Or even to color something, take a black and white photo and put some color in it.
Oh,
if not
yeah.
the whole thing, and just kind of give it a different view, but enhancing it at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think it's an art. You know, as we talk about artists, and you are an artist and former model, but an artist, it's amazing that you visualize and you see things differently from a lot of other people who just take things for granted. They just don't see, you know, that little thing, that little detail.
Yes.
And you take a lot of time and patience doing that, which I think is just so amazing. I mean, I don't have the patience to do that sort of thing. I wish I did, but it's just,
yes,
you know,
I
it's
thank
just,
you, thank
it's
you.
unbelievable.
Which leads me to congratulating you on your award this past week.
Oh, thank you.
So you do have plenty of patience because it takes a lot of time and energy to do what you do also. That first of all, traveling and then coming back to the States and editing all that wonderful work you do and airing it for Globetrotter. It's incredible, and it takes a lot of patience also,
Well,
I'm
it does.
sure.
It does.
Especially traveling and dealing with other people's time, energy, and their wants and wills. And you're saying, but
Absolutely.
wait a minute, I'm here on a schedule. I can't do that.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's show business.
Exactly.
Hurry up and wait.
Da-da-da-dum.
Yay.
But you know, that's what's so great about all of us being artists and producers and photo fixer-uppers and all these different things that make a big difference, and also just being visual. I think visual is a whole thing, and that's what I love
Yes.
about people. And a lot of people I know are very visual, you know, and I think that's so important as opposed to people who have no vision at all, you know.
I believe that that's part of what God gave us, that the vision to see beauty.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, who created all that beautiful sculptures and painting of etc.
Sistine Chapel and so
It's
forth.
the beauty to see something beautiful. How will you interpret it? It's up to the individual, but
Absolutely.
to see beauty everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that inspires all of us to just be more of what we want to be.
Or even the flowers, you know, just beautiful flowers in a garden,
Yeah.
you know, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, I love all that sort of thing. As I walk down the street and I see things, you know, whoa, and
It's
inspiration.
inspiring. It kind of inspires, kind of gives you a picker-upper.
And this city is very inspiring. You know, I mean, the architecture in this city is amazing. I mean, look at 57th Street, that building by the river. It goes into a pyramid.
Pyramid. Have you seen how it turns? As you go down the highway, how it literally changes its view, kind of like
Exactly.
like it was designed to do that.
Yeah.
That's great architect.
Exactly.
That's a lot of creativity. That's a lot of patience.
Well, it's a lot of thought in terms of putting it all
Yeah.
together, and I think it's just amazing how the artists, and the city's allowing the artists or the architects to do that nowadays, whereas before it was just straight up and down, and now it's just all these,
Yes, yeah.
expressions around the city.
Their 13 Empire State Building, all different colors, and then I collaged the, actually it's composite, the clouds, which is 3 photos of clouds.
Right.
And then the major cloud up here, which is another different cloud. So it's a collaboration of 17 photos to create all of that.
Right.
The 13 Empire State Buildings.
But I think the whole thing about your collection of posters making a statement, a social statement, and I think that's the best way to put it, a social statement which says, you know, this is what's happening now, we need to change this. This is what's happening now, we need to change this. Making these statements, and I think that, and people getting these posters and having as reminders that this is what we need to change. You know, because we're in it together.
To name a few things.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm
exactly.
saying. The posters can continue to grow because there's more subjects with the same mentality, which is like narrow-minded.
Exactly.
And a lot of our people, our country, the world, don't know history, don't read information, don't put things together with facts.
Right.
And the assumptions of what they hear, what they see, which may not be correct, is what's leading us to the mistakes that we're living into.
Right.
And hopefully there'll be a change in the future. We have to hope
Absolutely.
that there's going to be a good change.
I hope so.
And it's like, where are we going with all this racism and all this bigotry? Where are we going with this?
But it's been forever, unfortunately.
That's why I'm wondering, where do we go with this?
Yeah. But since the beginning of time, unfortunately, but it needs to change.
Yes, and hopefully...
And people need to accept people for just being people. You know, I just think the reality is that we just have to really live in this world together and just enjoy each other and be inspired by life.
Yes, and I think the future is going to be a shock to a lot of people. We hear about Hawking's, the new device they have that's about this big, that's going to be sent into space, and it's going to photograph beyond, and keep sending pictures to NASA. And NASA's going to be able to see things that we've never imagined, because this little chip is going to fly all the way over there and get all those photographs. Does this sound like a movie, like a cartoon? But this is
Sounds
real.
like a nightmare.
This is the future.
Sounds like a nightmare.
In 20 years or less, this is what's going to happen.
It's Big Brother.
That little chip.
It's Big Brother. And we're getting that already.
I believe it's been here for a while.
Yeah.
It was introduced in the book called
1984.
1984, which came out in the early mid-60s.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Watching you
and
put
maybe,
together all of your wonderful posters and your wonderful art and photography.
Get some of those pictures and put them into our little collages.
How about that?
I would like that.
That would be fun.
That really, really would be fun. And then it makes you wonder, if we're the only planet with these hassles, or are there other planets out there with the same hassles that we have, or others? And you wonder, well, how others can there be?
I don't know, but I'm not going there. That's one
I
trip
don't
I'm
want to
not
go there
taking.
either. Let's just leave that alone.
It's too long a trip.
There's enough going on over here.
Going to Malaysia for 18 hours is long enough.
Isn't that true? Yes.
You know, I mean, it's just one straight flight. That's enough for me. I'm not going to the moon. I'm not going to Mars or any other place.
I feel the same way. There's so much to see right here on this planet.
Yeah.
And underneath in the earth, the ocean, etc.
And you know what? The interesting thing is, in a lifetime, I don't think you can really see the entire world in a lifetime, even if you traveled all the time, because it's so big and there's so many things to see
I think
that
so
it would
too.
just be impossible. But you try your very best to see as much as you can. I think that's the most important thing.
I think so too. And to try different foods.
Oh, yeah.
Different foods, different places, different flavors.
Absolutely.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, and meet new friends.
I like that too.
You know, it's very interesting. Talk about new friends. When the World Trade happened here in New York, friends from all around the world emailed me and said, "Are you okay?" And I wrote back and I said, "Yes." When the tsunami happened, I looked through my book and I emailed everyone and I asked if they were okay. And they said yes. So I was very pleased by the fact that, again, we cared about one another. And that's what we have to do. We have to continue caring about each other throughout this world.
And social media has made that so possible and so much easier than it was, say, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, with a slow, what do they call it, snail mail, forget it. You know, this was it. I rarely use a stamp because everything is on the internet, you know. I'm so delighted. I thank you so much.
And I thank you, too, for your interest and to seeing you looking so wonderful. And again,
Well,
congratulations
you look
with
gorgeous.
your work.
So remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel.